the reason is why you're going to do this. It kind of sets you apart from the rest of all of the other contractors who don't do pre-construction. It makes perfect sense in reality to have everything planned out and to get part of that taken care of up front, but you have to know how to articulate that in a way that gives the client confidence.
And I feel like when we presented the pre-construction to our clients and we explained it, they definitely had more confidence in us.
And those who didn't, it's like, okay, this is not a good fit because we're not going to work on the whim. We're not going to do that anymore.
Because that's where the chaos comes in.
How did a small residential construction business eliminate chaos and profit bleeds in their operation? How do they filter out their own clients before they even enter the sales process? And what do they do to attract their ideal clients? What was the connection between pre-construction and a better work-life balance in this family-owned business? What software do they use? And what are some of the processes they implemented to change their business? Well, join us today as Ashlee and Alexis of MDT Inc. from Riverside, California, reveal some of their secrets to success, from defining roles and getting their team on board with new systems to mastering pre-construction planning and even some social media marketing tips. They've streamlined their operations, they've boosted client satisfaction, eliminated chaos, and taken their business to the next level. So that's what you're going to hear about in this episode of the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd Dawalt, spelled D-A-W-A-L-T. I'm your host. And here at Construction Leading Edge, we're all about helping construction business owners have more freedom, more impact, and more wealth by systematizing your construction business. We're talking about a self-managing construction business. So if you'd like our help, the first step is to go to constructionleadingedge.com and hit the apply button. Now, let's get to my conversation with Ashlee and Alexis from MDT Inc. in Riverside, California. Enjoy. All right, Ashlee and Alexis, welcome to the podcast. I'll let you all introduce yourself if you would. Tell us your names and let's talk about your company and what kind of work you do and what part of the world you're in.
Thank you. My name is Alexis. I am the lead project coordinator for MDT.
And my name is Ashlee. We're located in Southern California. I am the general contractor, the license holder here at the company, but we are a female-owned general contracting firm, and we specialize in ADU builds, accessory dwelling units, very popular here in California. And really any ground-up build is kind of our forte, home additions, things like that. Not into custom homes yet, but that's the route we want to go.
We start with the design, permitting, and the initial build.
Mm-hmm. All the whole build.
And what does MDT stand for?
So initially it started as because I was a realtor. So it was my mother and I that were working together. So it was mother-daughter team. But as we have grown, my father is also in our business. He's the person that we learned everything from construction-wise. So our last name is Mejia. That's her maiden name, my last name. And so it's Mejia Development Team.
So family business, there are some unique nuances to a family business.
Yes.
Any tips for how to, what are the keys to working together as a family? Because we have a lot of folks who are their spouses working together, multiple generations to working together, brothers working together, sisters working together. What have you found to be successful in making it work with a family business?
I would say for sure the best, most helpful thing for us has been assigning roles. Once you have your own roles, then things get a lot clearer. When you're overlapping and kind of walking all over each other and there's no organization, that's when not only does it become chaotic in a business environment, but then you also add in the family dynamics, dad talking to daughter. And then if the daughter has any input for the dad, it can get a little weird.
Gray.
So I would say definitely define the roles and then get systems in place. That way everything is a lot clearer and it doesn't have to necessarily come as an order or a command. It's more like, this is what I do. This is what you do. and it becomes so much better, but it hasn't always been easy for us, for sure.
And a lot of therapy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk about your story. How did you all get started in business?
So my dad has been a contractor since we were little girls, and my mother has been a real estate agent since we were little girls. So we grew up around homes in all aspects, whether it be home sales or
Framing.
Yeah, we grew up on the job site essentially. So once I got to be of age, I decided to become a real estate agent and work alongside my mom. But if I back up a little, I was in corporate for a while as well. And I was unhappy with just the lack of flexibility, the lack of growth. I was more ambitious, I guess, than what was being offered. So my mom offered me, a little salary, small salary, kind of a guarantee if I would take the leap to move into real estate. So I did. And I'm so thankful to her that she did that. We've had such hard times, but then, you kind of learn how to navigate the self-employment. And so real estate was a good base for me because I learned about everything when it comes to home inspections, appraisals, understanding how to build in order to get value. I feel like has been really pivotal for me as a contractor now. I'm able to offer insight that maybe someone who doesn't have real estate experience would be able to offer because I understand what actually gets value long term, what will appreciate. So we did a couple of flips, and in doing that, we were hiring out different people because my parents are divorced. So that's just another layer to our story. My parents are divorced, so they didn't necessarily want to work with one another, but we were able to bring them together. And when we did that, we were hiring out different people and paying a lot more money than maybe we should have because we did have the experience. So then my dad offered me, he said, why don't you go get licensed and I will pay for it. And so I studied and it took me a little while, but I passed the test the first time. It was really awesome. And from there, my dad had his own book of business, but it was really small because he doesn't do things with systems. Never had. He's more of an old school handshake guy. And so, it just kind of naturally took flight because I started marketing on Instagram, and Instagram has been that's a big part of how we run our business and get organic leads into our company because people are able to see who we are and what we do. And we document a lot of that process on our social media. We share a lot of behind the scenes tips to make your build easier. And then, as our business grew, then I needed help. So my sister joined the team. And
a little bit about me, Ash and I worked together too in the corporate field for an aftermarket car manufacturer. Mm-hmm. We were both purchasers. It was a male dominated field. So we kind of have always been a part of that. And we were raised tomboys. So it was just another challenge. And so when she left, I kind of was like, well, I think I'm ready to go too. And then I've always been, and then after that, I was in sales. I sold wine for some time. As our family business grew, she's like, I think I need your help. And I jumped on board, and it's been a journey.
Yes.
Awesome. So I want to go back to something you said, Ashlee, and Alexis, maybe you had the same experience. You were working in corporate, but you just didn't feel right. Maybe there weren't growth opportunities. What did that entrepreneurial itch feel like, or what? There are a lot of people listening who are thinking, I'm not sure I've got my ladder leaned up against the right wall, or I want to do my own thing. What were the thoughts you were having at that time when you were thinking about getting out of the corporate world?
Well, I was a mom really young as well. So I had my son, and so he was a big motivating force for me as well. And I think my mom being in real estate my mom had us when we were young, or when she was young as well. So I saw that she was able to give us a pretty good life on a commission only structure. And so I had faith that it was possible, and that we did have good examples in our parents. My father also was an entrepreneur. He never relied on a company for a paycheck. He always kind of did that himself. So I'd say, part of it is just in my blood. It's who we are, how we were raised. But then another thing is, I just think that I wanted to buy a home. I wanted to, have my son in private school for certain reasons. And so I was never going to be able to do that on the salary that I was making. And so I wanted to go and pursue entrepreneurship because it was something that I believed that I could do. And I had my parents' support. Really, I think that's kind of the thing. I feel like people don't have the support, so they get a little scared. But even if you don't have parents, if you could just find a mentor or someone to speak to in that type of field that is self-employed, it's really inspiring. And I will say that when I was working corporate, although I didn't care for the structure there, the owner of the company, he was really hard, but his expectations really motivated me. I like kind of the structure.
We thrive on structure.
Yeah. So he was very militant. He was ex-military, very strong personality. And I saw a lot of myself in him, honestly, but I didn't know it yet. But I think I admired those qualities about him, and I wanted to find a way to get those qualities myself. And he was big on self-development, reading, taking courses. And so although it didn't work out there, I think I was where I was supposed to be because I learned so much from that career and from being in that environment that really kind of set the stage for what we're doing now.
And also I feel coming from corporate, if you work as hard as you do your corporate job on your own business, you'll be surprised how successful you could be.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk about social media in just a minute and talk about what you all have found to work pretty well, because I think you're doing a great job on social media. But I want to go back to something else. You mentioned you started doing house flips, and now you're building accessory dwelling units. What was that transition from flipping houses for yourself to custom projects, remodeling and ADUs? What caused you to make that transition?
On Pinterest?
Yeah, I think so. In the beginning, what I would do is I would just take different photos that I saw that I liked, different designs
on Pinterest,
off of Pinterest. And first I wanted to put those into our flips. So I found that doing the flips was kind of a creative outlet. You could do, more of a prettier tile, kind of make it stand out a little, because the flip game is very numbers driven. There's not a lot of creativity that goes into that. So I think that was why I lost a little bit of passion for the flipping, because it didn't allow us the creativity because it's so budget based.
That's when the grays were in. So it's like everything gray.
Yeah. All the gray floor, all the gray tile.
It's terrible.
So then once I started posting things on Instagram, it was actually funny. I posted this specific picture of a wet room. So it's like a bath inside of a shower. And I always wanted to build that. And then someone actually reached out to me and asked me to build that. And so I was like, oh my God. And that was our first, I would say, creative project. And it was really fun. We got to do fun, blue tile. It looked amazing. And it was a totally custom design. And it was an older 1929 home. And we were able to take out a closet and make this big wide open space. And the clients were really fun. They had some fun ideas. So once I saw, this works, I can post something and I knew I could deliver, because I believed in my dad, and my uncle also works with us and he's a very talented craftsman. So I knew we could deliver, but once I actually got the confidence and saw that if we show something we want to do, we can do it. And then we show the after process, it just kind of naturally started coming, because I think we became more sought after to a degree, because we were building what people wanted, as opposed to we became that more custom builder as opposed to just cookie cutter. And that attracted people on social media, and that helped us build a following.
Let's talk about social media. First of all, when you scroll through your Instagram feed, maybe you see other builders, remodelers doing things. And I'm curious, do you see people making mistakes? Do you see people using Instagram wrong? Or what are some of the common mistakes that you see people making when it comes to their, maybe what they think is marketing? Anything come to mind there?
I do. You can go after, but just
I don't.
Unrealistic timeframes. Selling to the public, unrealistic budgets, unrealistic timeframes. Anytime it's a custom project, and most projects really are custom if you think about it, because every home is different. So even if you're doing the same design, and once you take everything down, if there's issues behind the wall or anything, it's really tailored specific to that home. And I think there's not enough transparency with really the process of construction and the pitfalls. And I think that making everything just look like an HGTV show, like it's going to be done in, a month, and it's going to be no problems, no bumps in the road, on budget, on time, every time.
Yeah.
Is just unrealistic.
And then also job site cleanliness. Obviously, we do our best to have the cleanest job site, but I feel like we try to, you see others have like this immaculate job site. So clients have these expectations, like everything should be clean, but at the end of the day, it's a construction site. So there are some debris that are going to be left, and then dust. Yeah. Obviously it should be in a nice, neat position, but
during construction, it's always going to be that. Yeah.
So what's your approach? What have you found that works really well on Instagram for you? Is there a formula or a type of post? Let's talk about what has worked really well. It seems like you guys have cracked the code on Instagram a bit. So what's working well for you?
We just had this video. It was actually shocking to us too.
Education.
It was an educational video, and we were using this product. It's called SafeBoard, and it goes underneath the countertop. So as opposed to using plywood under your countertop as the material that you put your countertop on top of, it's this engineered aluminum. That video has 550,000 views. And so it's educational content. I feel like, I can't tell you how many people direct message us and said, where do I get this? Where do I get this product? Where do I get this? Because it essentially keeps it more stable, and you don't need to use brackets underneath it. So you can have a very long overhang and it looks just nice and seamless. So I think that when we share educational content like that, or also appliances, we try to just education, this is a product you should use. Here's why we use it.
Also, we believe in our own product. So we not only sell ADUs, we're actually doing them ourselves, and we're showing the behind the scenes. I think our followers really enjoy the behind the scenes and how we're not so put together. People can relate to us a little bit.
We're a little more raw, I guess. We're a little more blunt about things and transparent about, we thought it was going to cost this much, but it ended up costing this much. Here's why. And we're in the business, and it's still expensive. Yeah. Building is not ever a budget. It's not going to always be budget conscious, right? But it's like we try to tell people, because this is what we believe, especially with the real estate background, you have to look, it's a long game. It's a long game, right? When you're building for yourself, not necessarily a flip, but if you're building for yourself, you have to get what you like and be happy with it, because it's going to be there for a long time and you're going to spend some money on it. So
I think also we also help our clients. We lead them to the right, how do you say it? Like we get them their lenders.
Yeah, we have finance partners. Being in real estate, I have lenders that I know. And then we've met people on our own, just in our own business through networking. So I think what's unique about our team is not only do we build, but we do all of the front end work as well. We can get you your financing, and we can get you all your permits.
So going back to social media, we put that on our social media. So if they want to achieve the home build, this is how, and then we're able to guide them. So that's how we get a lot of organic leads.
Yeah.
So here's a question about social media. I see a lot of people just sharing content that's not really specific to a type of customer. It could be to the low budget buyer. It could be to the middle of the road. It could be to the luxury buyer. How do you, do you target your specific audience with your content? And if so, how do you think about doing that?
We do. So we have looked at our analytics and seen who it is that's looking at our content. We know the age range is about roughly 35 to about 65, I would say. It's that middle age person. And the content that we create for them, it's usually the person is going to be a business owner. So there's someone who doesn't have a lot of time, so they want someone to take on the project as a whole. And that's how we work. We do everything. We don't allow anyone to bring their own plumber or their own electrician. We don't do that. So that automatically is going to rule out some people right there, because some people want to do their own demo, or they want to do their own, I'm going to bring my own tile. Like, that doesn't work for us. So it's generally a business person, and we always try to market to let them know what the benefit is long term, and also what the goal is. So if their goal is, because with these accessory dwelling units, some people use them for rentals, but for our client base, we have found that most of them want to bring family members home or have a separate space for their family member. For example, we have a client that, when he has out of town family members come in, they have their own space with its own kitchen. If they want to make coffee in the morning, they're not walking into the common living room. And, if they want to not have, if they want to be in their pajamas until noon, they can do that in that space, because it's its own dwelling. So I think we just try to share what you can gain from an accessory dwelling unit outside of just an income property. It's more like, your lifestyle, how it can be improved.
And bringing families together.
Yeah. We have another client who they merged households. So she moved in with her daughter, but they didn't want to live together. So she built on top of the garage, her own apartment on top of the garage. So they live together, but they don't live together. So we just try to put that message out there that this is what you can do with this product outside of just renting it to a stranger.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's talk about a few months ago. When we had a call, I'm curious, what challenges were you guys dealing with that led you to reach out to us initially?
Number one was profit bleed.
Yeah. And not having clear roles. So our office was essentially like an island, and our crew was an island. So there was no real communication taking place. And so we saw
Cassie.
Okay, but I saw your Instagram videos, and I thought, okay, well, this sounds like something that we need. We need systems in place, and we need roles. And truthfully, I didn't know that it was going to work, because we're a family and it's difficult with personalities, and I didn't know who was going to fall in line, who wasn't going to fall in line. But we had such chaos that it was worth.
I think we were all a little bit desperate for some structure.
Yes.
Even though we didn't admit
it. Well, we were to the point where we were all like hands up, like, okay, let's do something.
Take our money.
So I heard you say back in the corporate world, you thrived on structure, right? And then it sounds like when you got into this business, doesn't sound like there was a lot of structure there. What were some of the symptoms of a lack of structure, or what did that chaos look like? You mentioned profit bleeds, but what were some of the other symptoms of that lack of structure?
Scheduling. We would just schedule Sunday and figure out what Sunday night. We didn't communicate with our crew, so our crew didn't know what appliance specs were going to be in a kitchen, what faucets, nothing. They were in the dark.
I think too, symptoms also were, the excessive phone calls. What's happening? When? Where are we going to be? Never clocking out of work because I'm always incessantly, putting out a fire.
A lot of fires.
Also, just like personal time, there's no division between like my work and my life. So I think that was a problem for us. There was just, and then arguments, just constant arguments amongst all of us because we're all pissed.
Yeah. And then we would do family dinners and it would turn into an MDT talk, and it was no work-life balance. It just wasn't fair to our family.
No,
it was bad.
Yeah. So it was affecting you all individually. It was affecting the family.
Yeah.
Who else was feeling the ripple effects of that? Like, were the clients feeling that? Were your subcontractors?
Not our subs. Thank God we've always been really good with our subs just because they're like a heartbeat of our business as well. Just like our clients, we have the same people that we've worked with. So we always try to take care of them. But it seemed like sometimes they were getting more benefits than we were.
Yeah.
Because we were just making sure that they were taken care of. And I told my mom one time, I just feel like I'm a check passer outer. I just pass out checks to everyone. And I'm waiting for my check. So it was like, I stopped enjoying it so much because I felt like I was just task managing all day long. And it was not fun anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What you mentioned profit bleeds. What were some of those? Can you give an example of what a profit bleed was? There may be some folks who aren't familiar with that term.
So, for example, the endless Home Depot runs. For example, something as simple as a ram board, to cover the floors, we would miss that. Or
so then it would scratch the floor. So then we'd have to therefore go in and replace part of the floor.
So it would take cost of the material, cost of one of our guys leaving the site to go pick up. It was just
gas money for that.
Oh, yeah, gas.
And just
lack of production.
Yeah. Like just always rework,
Endless punch lists.
Oh yeah. The
punch lists.
Never ending punch lists.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And were you guys doing free estimates?
Oh yes. Always.
Back then too?
Yes, a lot of them. We were driving around town for fun. And people were just back then my dad would be very kind and just give our kitchen design, and then they would take it and they would shop us, and we've just gotten a lot smarter. So we have a lot of horror stories.
I still run into folks every once in a while who are giving away free estimates, and they don't think there's any other way. What would you say was the worst part about free estimates for you all?
I think just the time, because even though it was a free estimate, to save your own butt, you don't want to just throw out a number because then someone could hold you to it. I would really take my time. And in reality, these people had unrealistic budgets a lot of the time too, because my thing is, and this may sound harsh, but the reality is free attracts free mindset. So when someone expects something for free and they don't have to pay for it, or they don't want to pay for it, nowadays I say if they can't be bothered to pay a small fee for their own project, they're probably not the right fit anyways, because if they're not that excited about their project to want to invest in it, then it's likely not a good fit. So now it's like a checks and balances almost, with the estimates.
Got it. Yeah, absolutely. If it's, I like that. Free attracts free. Yeah. So you guys signed up for our Systematize Your Construction Business program. You all jumped in. You did a great job implementing. I'm curious, what were your biggest concerns before you got started in the program?
With the program itself, like what we were going to be able to manage with it?
Yeah, you guys jumped in, you signed up, you're ready to rock and roll. But I'm curious, did you have concerns like, is it going to work? Are we going to do this? Are people going to be on board with it? What were some of your concerns that you had back then?
Our dad, my dad is very old school, as Ash had mentioned. We have implemented Builder Trend as well in our company. And he just kind of gives a lot of pushback. So we were kind of hesitant to see if he was going to align.
And I think, you have with the program, you have certain tasks that you have to take care of, like the nail the handoff, having those meetings. And I will say, to his credit, even though I didn't think that he was going to take to it, he actually did take to it. So yes, I had a lot of reservations that there would be resistance, and there was some resistance, but ultimately, I think when we explained why we were doing this and that it was for the greater good, that resistance kind of went away, and we don't deal with that really anymore so much. Sometimes we do.
Nice. So take us to the moment when you were doing the work in the program. Take us to the moment when you realized that the systems you were implementing were actually working to solve some of those challenges.
I just love the word pre-construction. And that has been such a saving, it's such a time saver for our whole team, because when it all starts with us, but ultimately it just gives, how do you say it? It goes just so smooth and seamless with our crew after we're done with the pre-construction. So pre-construction.
Yeah, I think that. And then also getting paid for pre-construction,
Yes.
That's a big deal. So I remember it was during the program that we got our first paid for pre-construction, and it was a pretty big win. Because it wasn't a small project. It's a pretty big project. And I think that also the confidence that you gain in knowing how to articulate the service and kind of what the reason is why you're going to do this, it kind of sets you apart from the rest of, all of the other contractors who don't do pre-construction. It makes perfect sense in reality to have everything planned out and to get part of that taken care of up front. But you have to know how to articulate that in a way that gives the client confidence.
I was going to say, and I feel like when we presented the pre-construction to our clients and we explained it, they definitely had more confidence in us.
And those who didn't, it's like, okay, this is not a good fit because we're not going to work on the whim. We're not going to do that anymore.
Because that's where the chaos comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Explain that. Talk more about that's the statement, that's where the chaos comes in. What do you mean by that?
When we don't have, the tile selections, the countertops, the cabinet selections,
the placement
the
of
placements, even the tile layout. I mean, so many little components create this big project that when it's time to break ground, this is how we are able to meet timelines.
And also just this is how it goes seamlessly because, think about it. If you don't know the tile, you don't know the tile layout, you don't know the grout color. And these are all things that your client can say, oh, well, I don't like it. And then you have to go do it again if they don't like it, if you're a good business person. So by having all of this pre-construction, so now the difference is we have a document, and that's where we love Builder Trend as well, because Builder Trend has selections option in it. And so we will give them, for example, 3 tiles, and then they say which one they want, and then they approve it. So not only does it make the construction process easier, but also as a contractor, you have to document and you have to have proof just in case, so that you can show that, you're doing your due diligence and that you're offering the client an option and that they are able to pick what they want. And it's just like she said, little things like it's not just the tile, it's the way the tile is going to be laid. It's the grout that's going in between it, all of those things, because otherwise, you're ready to do tile. And it's like, now we got to wait a week because we got to choose the tile. We got to choose the grout, choose the layout. The client wants to see it 50 times.
And that's where the profit bleed comes in, because we only allocated so many weeks to this project, but now we are at a standstill due to the client not selecting a tile. So that's where the pre-construction has helped with the profit bleed. And that's where you have taught us, Todd. So we are thankful.
Yes.
Hey guys, Todd here. If you own a custom home building or remodeling business, let me ask you a few questions. First, how often do you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about project details, financial issues, or something else about your business, and you can't go back to sleep? Are you spending more than 10 hours a week working in the business, wearing multiple hats, putting out fires, and you feel like you can't work on your business as much as you want? Number 3, do you have enough documented systems and processes, or is it all in your head? Number 4, How good is your handoff of projects from the office to the field? Are you getting hammered by the just enough to start trap, doing just enough to start? And then lastly, do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you need to grow, but you're scared to, and you don't know how to do it? Maybe it feels like you need to hire, but you're afraid to make a mistake, and you're worried you can't afford to hire somebody. Well, if any of that resonates with you, you're not alone. And if you want to make your business a source of more freedom and a source of less stress, to systematize your construction business. And our team here at Construction Leading Edge has helped over 300 builders and remodelers systematize their business, and we can help you too. The first step is to schedule a call with my team by going to constructionleadingedge.com/apply. That's constructionleadingedge.com/APPLY, or you can send a text to this number, 877-755-2410 with the word apply. That's 877-755-2410. Just text the word apply and we'll get back to you. Now, let's get back to our episode. So what I found is the root cause of a lot of problems is what we call the just enough to start trap.
Absolutely.
Doing just enough to start. Do you feel like that's what you guys were doing
Absolutely.
before, doing just enough?
Absolutely.
Totally. I mean, barely enough to start. I wouldn't even call it just enough. It's just barely enough.
Maybe instead of a JETS, it's BETS, barely enough to start.
It's nothing. Yeah.
I may have to steal that acronym. Yeah. So next question, what would you say are some of the most impactful changes you've made to your business? In other words, what are the top 2 or 3 systems or processes you've implemented? Sounds like pre-construction.
Yes.
Having a robust pre-construction process is on that list. What else would you say have been some of the most impactful changes you've made?
Roles. I feel like assigning roles. The accountability chart was huge because we were able, Leah really helped us with that. You know, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. When it comes here, it falls in your court. That really helped. And then
also we hired an amazing admin assistant, and she has kept everything in Builder Trend, documents, all warranties, documents, schedules, selections, you name it, it's in there. So, you know, if we ever need to, you know, refer back to a product, we have it. And so and
she's been trained in the system. So she started, I believe, right when we started the program.
Yes.
So she was able to sit in on our sessions. And although she was really green, she didn't know a lot. You know, if you're sitting in and you're just listening to things, you don't think about it in that moment, but when you need it, you can refer back to that. And she noted all of the different challenges that the other builders were having, that was really helpful for us. Very helpful. A lot of great advice, you know, different processes that the other builders were using to avoid things, because we've all been in that boat where we're just floundering around. And it was cool that there was different people in different stages to learn from. So I think that the accountability and then having the roles just very, very concrete, aside from the pre-construction, has been extremely helpful and it's changed our business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How did your nail the handoff session go?
At first, it was a little room of arguments, but then it settled in. And it went really well.
It went good because even though there was, you know, a few moments of, I wouldn't say contention, but just discussion.
How did you say, Todd? What was it when it was like, get back on track, or what was it?
Oh, I don't know.
In the form, it was like, make sure we get back on track. We had to do a couple of those.
Like round them up again.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
But
time out. Tangent alert.
Yes, there you go. That's what it was.
Tangent alert.
We had a couple of tangents.
But everyone was offering their input. So it was really good. So we were able to, out of that process, we created the spec books and, you know, the layout. So now on every job site, we have, you know, a booklet, and it has all of the specs. It has all of the placement.
It has the kitchen layout. It has, what other specs? All of the plumbing finishes.
The permits in there, the building permit. it's just so much better. So now everyone knows to look for that, be it the office or the crew. They know that it's there. They expect it to be there. And so now we get a job, we have the layout, and then automatically our assistant will start putting the book together. And then we'll go and deliver it to the job site. So it's like now there's a process. And that nail the handoff, it started there because that feedback came from our crew specifically, complaining that we gave them nothing to work with.
That they walked in the dark.
And we didn't.
And sometimes that stings a little bit,
yes.
right? But I heard 20 years ago, somebody said self-awareness is like hugging a porcupine.
Yeah.
The closer you get, the more uncomfortable it becomes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it stings a little bit when you realize, oh, wow, we've I've heard other people say, it's like we just sent our people out there and we set them up for failure.
Totally.
And it was almost impossible for them to succeed.
Honestly.
Yeah. It is. And it's not fair to them either because they go to work, they get something done and they think they're done with that. And then, oh, sorry, tomorrow you got to do the same thing, but take it all apart now. You know? Yeah.
Oops, go do it again. Yeah.
It's disheartening.
Yeah, that's what I think some people would say, well, you know what? They're getting paid by the hour or whatever. You know, why do they care? But that's just not correct.
No.
There may be some people who don't care about that, but I've worked with hundreds of carpenters, electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, HVAC, people from all trades, and the good ones
they care.
Like to do it once.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they care. It's demoralizing.
Yes, it is.
To go back
mm-hmm.
and touch it again. Yeah, definitely.
Because that's their training.
So
they want to feel like professional,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, everybody wants to feel productive. They want to accomplish things.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just there punching a time clock.
No,
yeah.
exactly.
So let's talk about the results you've seen from the work you guys have done. And that's really the key. We provide the content, the tools, the accountability, but it comes down to implementation. And
totally.
You guys have been great implementers. So what's different about your business now after the work you've done?
I would say that starting with our sales process, not doing free estimates has been huge because when we do have our sales process starts now with a discovery call. And then we get to see if we're a good fit. And then, you know, before it was kind of like hazy, like, oh, money question, budget, don't want to touch that. Now it's like, how much money do you have? It sounds blunt, but it's like, can we do this or not? Because I'll tell you the truth, you know, if that budget's just not realistic, or here's what we can do with that budget type of thing. That way, you know, before we'd just go to this, you know, estimate across town and they want to spend $20,000 on a $70,000 job.
So
sales process.
Yes. And then also, on the job site, we do a job walk for every phase of the project. So rough plumbing, rough electrical, and we walk it with the client.
Pre-drywall.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So if a client wants to move an outlet, here's the opportunity, you know, so they'll sign off, and then we don't have that because before they would want to move it after the drywall, and then that's where the profit bleeds. So job walks with the client.
And happier clients, I think. The yes. clients are, you know, trust us because we do have a process. We are guiding them in the right way. They do see the schedule. I think they can see where their money's going. They have someone coordinating at every step of the way. And so we have such great relationships with our clients. They're really easy to work with because, you know, everything's pre-planned and it's just a different game when you are dealing with people, when you have organization, than that just enough to start, because it just breeds insecurity. It breeds incompetence, quite frankly. When you don't have things planned out, it looks like the show's running you're not running the show. So it's like really, it's a difference in interaction, I believe, with our clients. So that's what we've seen.
And also punch lists. They have gone from 3 sheets to, you know, 1, and we're able to walk it with our client,
sign off and be done.
Sign off and call it a day. Just the dread of those.
You mentioned that not having a process or not having things planned, maybe more specifically, doing just enough to start breeds insecurity. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Sure, yeah, because I think that instead of having a plan, it kind of looks like you're just like fly by night, right? Like if you don't have the schedule planned, your client feels like you don't know what you're doing. It's kind of like any other business. If you go to the dentist, then they're like, okay, well, let's see what we're going to do next time you're in. No x-rays, no nothing. It seems disheveled. And so I think our industry gets a bad rap because there are some bad actors out there that do the money grab thing. But I feel like if you explain to your client what and why beforehand, then it removes so much of that distrust because they know why they're paying X amount of dollars. They see all the planning. They see the systems that you have in place. They see the material on site that you chose months ago, different types of things. And then having those job walks, it shows that you're being proactive. It's just a different experience with your clients when it makes you a professional. That's what it does.
Yeah. So sales process is better. You're getting paid for estimates. You have your pre-construction process dialed in. You have happier clients. It sounds like clients who are more confident. Is it safe to say you all are more confident?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Punch lists are better. What about your project schedules? Are you all, are you getting projects started faster, finished faster? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that we are able to complete things more quickly because of the pre-construction process. We know who needs to be where, when, and everything's already picked out. Like, for example, this last job we had our plumber come on site and we're able to walk with him and show him exactly. I did a meeting with my client, a job walk with my clients, chose everything. And then when the plumber comes on site, I just have to tell him one time, there's no rework. There's nothing. He gets there, he gets to work, and then I can start scheduling my rough electrical, or whatever the case, whatever that next trade is. But I can already start scheduling because I know he'll be done by the end of the week. We give them deadlines, our subcontractors, and, but that's also communication, before they would just show up on the job and, it's 5 days later and it's like, okay, what's going on? But there was never a deadline. Now we communicate to them, okay, we need you out because we need drywall to start next. Or, we just kind of communicate that. And then everyone works as a team. It's not like adversarial or you didn't tell me or this or that. It's more like, all right, guys, this is what we have to do. They can lead their team better when we communicate.
What about profitability? Have you seen a boost or a change in profitability yet?
Absolutely.
We have, definitely. We are in a little bit of a pivot in our business in that we used to be primarily remodelers and now we're going into more building. So a lot of our work is pre-construction now. Before it was just constant on the job site work. So we've seen a little bit of a difference, but the project scale that we're working with now is just way larger.
It's what we dreamed of. Honestly, it sounds cheesy, but we literally prayed and dreamed for where the direction we're going in now. And when we started your program, Todd, that's kind of where our minds started coming together and saying, hey, I think, our business is shifting in this direction. And we were all aligned. So yeah, sure, we've seen some like
profit.
It has slowed down, but what we have planned for next year is exciting.
Yeah, because now we're doing more of the development portion of it. So, these are blank lots, no utilities, no nothing. So now we're kind of getting in sync with the buyer or with the client at that moment where we're coordinating all of the lot, everything to happen, a surveyor, a grading plan, erosion plan. So it's a little different. So these are now developments as opposed to just
kitchen
remodels. It's different.
So you planted a seed in us, and we are forever grateful because we're excited for what's to come. We're a little shaky right now, but it's okay.
That's fantastic. So I'm curious, what advice would you give to somebody who's considering joining our Systematize Your Construction Business program, but maybe they're a little hesitant and they're just not sure about it, what would you tell them?
I would say do it. I would say that you want to work, it sounds cheesy, but you want to work on your business, not in your business, because I think that with us in our industry, we are always putting out fires if we're not careful. So we're just, I don't have time. But I think that you have to just stop, press pause, and invest the time. And if you do it, then the rest of your career will change, really, because you'll then be operating in control as opposed to just kind of going with the flow, with the motions. And you can't be profitable that way. You can't show up as your best self. You're always stressed. You're always somewhere else in your mind. You know, even talking to your kids, you're talking to your kid and you're thinking about your job site. It's ridiculous. You know, it's like you want to be present with your family. You want to be, you know, you gain so much more by just hitting the reset button and really investing in your business so that you aren't overtaken by it and that you enjoy your business. And then you get off of work and you go and you enjoy your family, because that's what life is about. It's not just work. You know, we're working for our families. So we have to also enjoy our families and we have to set boundaries. And this allows you to have the boundaries.
Work-life balance.
Sorry.
Ash is obsessive. Okay.
No, I just think work-life balance is sometimes unrealistic, you know, because there are times when you do have more balance than others. And there are times when, you know, I tell my son when I'm doing an estimate, you know, this is like a grown-up book report I have to do right now. Like I have to just focus on this and get it done. So I can't talk to you right now. I'm going to be doing this for the next 2 hours, but then it's just 2 hours and I'm done with it. You can't always have balance when you're self-employed, but you can definitely
manage it better
for sure.
And we've set client expectations. So before our phone would start still ring, you know, after the client gets off of work, that's no longer, hey, here's Builder Trend. Here's where we communicate. We will talk to you tomorrow. Before we're just like ready to go, you know, ready to text or ready to answer. And it's like, that can wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I want to talk about client expectations for just a minute, but you mentioned work-life balance. Leah uses a term, she calls it work-life harmony. Sometimes it's not really balanced, but in harmony. So what's different about your personal life outside of work? Alexis, I'll start with you, and then Ashlee, you can answer the same question. What's different about your personal life now after the work you've done putting these systems and processes in place?
My phone doesn't ring as much. I'm a mom of two. I have a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old. I'm able to, and I'm a wife, so I'm able to be focused in my family. And my phone's not ringing from a client, and my phone's not ringing from my dad and my sister to talk about a fire that was going on. And my dad, we have been able to completely pull my dad out of customer service, and it's been life-changing as well.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I would say that I used to always be in my mind at work. Always. Didn't matter where I was. It could be 9 p.m. and I'm like sitting on my couch waiting for the shoe to drop because there's a problem or something. Kind of anxious all the time, honestly. But now I don't have that at all. I have total confidence. I mean, things happen, but I have confidence in our team and in our processes. And I know that even if there's a mistake, we can communicate to our clients and they're not going to like hold our feet to the fire because they've seen that we will fix it and that we're people of our word and that if we make a mistake, we'll own it and take care of it. So I think that just peace. I have peace.
He's also traveled a lot more this year.
Yeah, I've traveled a lot.
And we encourage.
I've traveled a lot. So I've been able to do that. I took my niece to New York. I went to Miami with my mom, you know, before, and this was like during the work week, right? This isn't just like a weekend. This is like during the work week. So I can check in at work, but things aren't falling apart. You know,
because systems are in place.
Yes.
And roles are being.
Nice. So you mentioned client expectations. What are a couple of crucial client expectations that you set now that prevent a lot of problems for you?
Builder Trend, I mean, I absolutely love that program because everything requires a signature. So we don't submit floor plans unless we have a signature. So I just feel like it's like our construction Bible.
Yeah, I think that client expectation is this is how we communicate. This is where you go to refer to anything. Builder Trend is great because it has live accounting. So there's no, how much do I owe? What's the next payment?
Or what was that change order?
Also, the Friday follow-ups.
Oh, yeah, we've implemented.
Have been instrumental. So we implemented the Friday follow-ups. That way it eliminates questions like what's happening next week. Friday, we tell them what happened during the week and what's going to happen next week. And that's where our assistant comes in. She's been great at that. She takes leadership of that. She comes in on Friday and sits in our office and we go over it in about 20 minutes. And then the clients get what they need. So,
and it also has helped, like our cash flow because come Friday, they know next week, okay, these payments are due.
Yeah.
So we're not scrambling to find to gather for payroll. It's like, okay, we have it before Wednesday. They can process payroll and
keep everything moving.
Yes.
And then just client expectation as well as just, these are all the items that you need to have picked out. If you need help, let's sit down and let's go over them together. Or here's a couple of showrooms that you can go to. We have people that we refer them to at the showroom that they can talk to and ask all the thousands of questions that they have. And then we just get the information back to us, put it in the system, and they can sign off on it at the end. So I think referring always back to Builder Trend, and that we do tell them up front, we can't move until we have these items. So we have to have everything here before we even demo. So it's different.
So just to clarify, what percentage of selections and decisions have to be made before you'll start the project? Is it all? Are you looking for pretty much all of them?
Kind of, yeah. Like whatever, depending on the scope of work, that can be a lot of items or not that many, but definitely finishes. We got to know finishes on the front end. That way
we need the rough plumbing like ASAP before we demo.
And also, which we learned in the program is you can't really give a firm price until you have all the finishes, because otherwise it's just like it's a nothing number. It doesn't even mean anything. So if I tell them I need this information so I can get you the right price, then it kind of motivates them at the same time, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pricing follows design and selections. Mm-hmm. And when you think about it, it's like you're asking for a price. What am I going to give you a price on? You haven't selected anything yet. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean? It means nothing. So yeah, I picked up that phrase from a client who built $8 million homes a few years ago. Pricing follows design and selections.
Yes.
And it just makes so much sense.
It really does.
It does.
So you guys are great implementers, but the reality is implementing changes in a business, especially a family business, can be tough. What would you say have been one or two of the keys to implementing these systems and actually getting things to change, actually getting people to embrace change in the business? What have been a couple of those keys to make that successful?
I think I always will go back to the roles, the accountability, having everyone with their role, because then it just removes that extra communication and it just makes, we're all on the same page now. I feel like we're all moving towards the same goal. And I think we all appreciate and enjoy our peace. And I think we all want to keep that. So I think that, keeping the roles really clear and then just making sure that we're coming through with our end of the deal where we have all the selections provided to our team. And then our team is coming through with their end of the deal. Our crew, they're doing their daily logs. We're able to see, and the clients are able to see. I just think that staying in the program and communication and systems, they're a must. The minute you stop that, you're automatically going to feel that. Maybe not the same week, but the next week, you're going to start to feel that tension start to build up again, whether it be your cash flow gets caught up because there's a certain progress payment that's not able to be done because someone didn't communicate something, or, we're human. We will still make mistakes here and there, but another Toddism is, what do I need to do to never have to worry about this again? What process can I put in place so I don't have to deal with this ever again?
So we have a list where we will go over our project that we just finished. Okay, what could we have done better? So for the next project, we're never doing that again.
Yeah, I mean, it's big. It's big because a lot of times you just don't. You just go to the next project. You don't even take a time to debrief on what worked, what didn't work. So I think slowing down is key. Slowing down and paying attention.
Yeah. Good stuff. A couple of quick questions for you. This is a question I like to ask everybody. What town do you live in? And is there a restaurant or a bar that people should not miss if they ever visit your town?
We live in Riverside, California. So that's about 40 minutes east of Orange County. And if you come to Riverside, you should definitely check out the Mission Inn. The Mission Inn, we're very well known for that. There's a huge festival of lights that takes place. It's nationally broadcast at this point, but it's a beautiful Spanish style hotel, and they have great food. And I'm an architecture person, so you can come and check it out. And if you want to come during Festival of Lights, which happens the day after Thanksgiving, it's awesome. It's a big deal in the town, and you'll see beautiful lights all over this old hotel. And I think Mission Inn is the good one, huh? Don't you think?
For you. For me, something a little different. So Riverside, California, but I'm going to take you about 15 minutes down the road. It's called Norco, California. And there is a family-owned business called Badlands. And if you're looking for a great, authentic barbecue with an ice-cold beer, they have over 20 on tap. That is the place you want to go. They have an amazing cornbread that you must try.
Cornbread and beer. Yes.
Got it. Cornbread, barbecue, and beer.
Yes, amazing.
Badlands and Norco and Mission Inn and Riverside. Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, you guys have been a blast to work with. I know Leah has really enjoyed working with you all. It's been fun working with you all, watching you all do such a good job implementing and just trusting the process, putting these things in place. So it's exciting to see your success and exciting to hear about your results. So keep up the great work. In just a moment, I'll give you an opportunity to share where people can connect with you or follow you. Mm-hmm. If for no other reason to try to copy your Instagram strategy, potentially in their market. But any other advice that you would share? You've got an audience of a few thousand construction business owners listening. Any advice or a message you would want to share with them?
I would say that it's possible to make a change. I think we get so wrapped in our minds in negative thinking that sometimes we can't see a way out. But if you slow down and you invest in yourself, in your business, which you should, and take good care of yourself by making your life easier. You owe it to yourself. I think we forget about our own peace. We just want to make other people happy. But, when you work and operate from a place of peace and and peace may not be the right word. That sounds like, but really when you operate from a place of clarity and you know where you're going and you have direction, everything changes. Your opportunities even change, not just your day-to-day work, but your opportunities, your confidence, the way you're able to speak to other business owners and help other people. Because there's been other builders who have helped us. This program has really, really helped us, and listening to the people within the program has been so helpful. The network, don't underestimate that, so put yourself out there. Invest in yourself
and surround yourself with like-minded people, because we're in California. Someone else might be in Tennessee, but I feel like the collaboration within your program as well, Todd, has been second to none. And thank you to all of the contractors who have given us great advice that we have really, brought to our business.
I think it's the same no matter what market you're in. Maybe it's a little different, the laws, but ultimately people are people. We're dealing with people. This is a people business. So, I just think the more that you have confidence in yourself, the better you can serve others, but you ultimately owe it to yourself and your family to have that peace.
Yeah. And I completely agree. And I think peace is a good word for it, because peace does not mean the lack of conflict or the lack of adversity, the lack of challenge. It's peace in spite of adversity, in spite of stress. You can have peace, you can have calm, you can have confidence in spite of those challenges. And a lot of that comes from eliminating the chaos, having the right systems in place. It's very possible. And you ladies are a testament to that. So congratulations. If people want to connect with you, follow you, hire you, apply for a job, where are some of the best places for them to go?
So our Instagram is where we're going to be most of the time, and you can reach us, and the handle is at MDT Inc. GC. So MDT Incorporated General Contractors is what it stands for.
And Ash and I both run our page, so we're excited for you guys to connect.
Everyone. Yeah. And then our website is mdtinc.net.
Got it. We will be sure to include those links in the show notes. So, ladies, thank you so much for taking the time to share. This has been fantastic. Congratulations on your success, and it's been a blast working with you and watching you guys get these results.
Thank you, Todd. We're very grateful.
We are.
Hey, Todd here. Before you go, thanks for listening. If you get value out of this podcast, if you could leave a rating or a review on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you consume this content, that would be great. And then if you are tired of waking up in the middle of the night, thinking about project details, worrying about cash flow, if you're tired of being stuck in day-to-day operations, putting out fires, if you're tired of not having enough documented processes and systems in your business, if you're tired of being hammered by the just enough to start trap, and you feel stuck, if you want to grow your business and you want to know the right process to do it, if you want to have a roadmap to follow and a proven system for that, then there's a 5-step process to systematize your construction business. And the team here at Construction Leading Edge specializes in that. That's exactly what we do. And we've helped over 300 companies do just that. If you would like our help, if you'd like to talk about what that looks like, the first step is to go to constructionleadingedge.com/apply, or you can go to our website, constructionleadingedge.com, and tap the Apply Now button, or you can simply send a text with the word apply to this number, 877-755-2410. Just send a text with the word apply to 877-755-2410, and my team will get back in touch with you. Thanks for listening. See you next time.